for the chairmanship of transportation and the leadership that you've shown over decades now in making sure that we have the money that we need to do what we want, and the potential, I believe, is even more important now than it was before. So tell us about what's going on with the Harbor Maintenance Trust.
Well, thanks, Caddy, and just thrilled to be here on the coast. Happy to have a little rain today, help us with fire danger for the rest of the month. You know, I've been working on this issue for a very long time. Truth be told, I actually started working on this issue with a guy named Bud Schuster, who chaired the Transportation Infrastructure Committee back in 1996. Since then, his son has chaired the committee and retired from Congress, and we're hopefully and finally on the verge of getting this done. Good things don't come easily in D.C. Many barriers to infrastructure relate to a lack of funding. And we've obviously had a lack of funding for proper harbor maintenance in terms of our dredging backlog, both here in Oregon and across the country. Nationwide, on a daily basis, we've got less than 50% capacity at our largest ports in terms of their authorized depths. We have jetties that need repair and replacement all up and down the coast, shoaling, etc. Now, the fact is that we have the money, but it's not being spent, which is unusual in Washington, D.C. There's a minuscule tax on the value of every imported good that comes into the United States in a container through a port. And that money totals about $1.8 billion a year. It's a tax instituted in the Reagan era as a user fee. To better, maintain our ports and be competitive as a maritime nation in the world economy. But for decades, Congress has been underspending that and putting money over in the Treasury and not spending it, while our ports are lacking in the resources they need. Now, for years, I would get the ports dredged by earmarking, that is, designating funding for each and every one of my individual ports. Then, when the Republicans took over in 2011, they banned earmarking. A couple years later, I got a provision in the Water Resources Development Act to have a small and emerging harbor set-aside, which has, again, got the federal government back into dredging our ports. But it's still not enough. So the bottom line is we need more. And all we have to do is unlock the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund to get there. So there is about $9.6 billion sitting in the Treasury that hasn't been spent on harbors. And I've been trying since I started with Bud Schuster back in '96, but most recently I got amendments on the Water Resources Development Act in the last two bills that passed the Congress to unlock the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund, but Speaker Paul Ryan personally intervened and had my provisions taken out of the bill before it came to the floor of the House. Well, Speaker Paul Ryan's history, and Democrats are in charge, and I have moved the bill unanimously out of my committee to say that we are, radical idea now, hold on your seats, we're going to spend the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund on harbor maintenance. So we are very close to getting this done. I have commitment from leadership. They will bring my bill to the floor in September. We have had some is this thing still working out? The light just went out. We've had some lost my train of thought because the microphone went out. Anyway. The bill coming to the floor, and Senator Shelby has tried in the Senate numerous times to attach it to something. So I'm very hopeful we can actually get this done. And in one of my meetings with President Trump in the White House, where we were having infrastructure discussions, actually I raised the idea to him, and he was like, "Well, that's stupid. Yeah, do that. Get that done." He said, "Get that done to Kudlow," or something like that. So I think the President will sign it, and hopefully we'll get it done, and then we will begin to catch up with our backlog and better maintain our harbors and ports more regularly and predictably.